What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? DFS 5-pack. We're talking the 20th November right now. We got week 11 of the NFL coming up. Definitely got a few pieces of information that we're waiting on, but we're going to go through some of our favorite picks for the week. Click that thumbs up button if you don't mind, and let's jump right into this. All right, as you guys can see, I'm going back-to-back weeks with one of my Green Bay Packers on the cover. Last week, Davante, we kind of talked it over, using him in cash, fading in GPPs, and we've seen kind of a lack of production out of him a bunch. So the GPP fade was good. Hopefully, you guys were still able to recover in cash games with the GPP or the cash game usage of him. This week, we're going to be talking about A.J. Dillon, and I think it's an exciting play. I've been calling for this guy to get more carries for a while, so I'm really excited to see him as the feature back this week. Click that thumbs up button, guys. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. And let's go through all 5 plays that we got for you this week. So let's start with Cam Newton. And at 5,100, I put him wildly in play for any format. So you guys who have watched me for years and years and years know that I'm not the biggest fan of like intangibles and narratives and stuff like that. Honestly, these guys are at the highest level. So most of them, and most professional athletes will tell you this, they bring it every single week. They don't need this locker room material. A lot of that is national media just trying to find something to talk about. All that being said, I really like Cam at home, first game back, getting the start and everything like that. Like, is he going to throw for 400 yards? No. But I could see him running in 2 touchdowns, being a little extra aggressive with his legs this week. I think this stadium is going to be fired up. He's got a good matchup here with the Washington football team. Now missing, their best player on the defensive side of things. The defense had been struggling before that anyway. This crowd loves Cam. And this is definitely like a huge get-up spot for the Carolina Panthers, who are also in play for a playoff spot. So not just like intangibly. Like, this game means something. At home, we got a quarterback who isn't going to run like he was 10 years ago, but still has the legs and the size to, hawk those goal line carries, especially if like you're fading McCaffrey. You could definitely see Cam running in a couple of touchdowns this week. They're going to get him going if given the opportunity. I think Carolina plays a really, really good football game here. And I think Cam is limited on his upside because I don't expect him to like light it up or anything like that, but they need to win this game. So they're going to put up some points. We're not just going to hand it off to McCaffrey. A lot of those dump offs to McCaffrey too get Cam points as well. So at 5,100, I think he works for any format, and I really do like the intangibles in the narrative of this game, which is not usual for me. So even if you don't agree with me, I think you could probably understand where I'm coming from. Next up, let's talk about this week's cover boy, my boy A.J. Dillon. So did I love the draft pick when Green Bay took him in the second round a couple years ago? No, I didn't. Didn't know anything about him. There was nothing about him as a player. I didn't watch him. So I'm not going to say I knew much about him. I knew he was built in the Derrick Henry, like, kind of mold. Obviously, he ain't Derrick Henry. Nobody is. But he does, his game is like that. He's like an unproven, inferior version of Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry right now is the GOAT running back, despite the fact that he's out right now. But that's how A.J. Dillon's game is. Only his hands are probably a little bit better than Derrick Henry. But going back to what I was saying in the beginning, I didn't love the pick because Green Bay didn't need a running back. We had Jamal Williams. We had Aaron Jones. I do think this is where you're going to see a little bit of the passing of the torch right here. Now, I've been screaming for all of last year and this year, even like A.J. Dillon at whatever he is, 230 pounds, should be getting the goal line carries. Aaron Jones runs really, really hard for a guy his size, but the truth of the matter is he's just over 200 pounds. A.J. Dillon is a beast and a half. He gets those carries this week. Now, the Packers may not light it up. The offense has been a little bit down this year, right, compared to last year. But they're going to score a couple of touchdowns. And if you get something inside like the 2-3 yard line, that's going to go to A.J. Dillon in this situation. Also, with Aaron Jones only really out for 1, maybe 2 weeks, like, you don't have to worry about being hard on A.J. Dillon. Like, you can give him as many touches as you want. So that is a good thing. If he was out for the year, you might have to be a little bit more cautious. But in the grand scheme of things, dude's got, 120 touches this year maybe? 97 carries? Like, you can use him as a workhorse. Green Bay's defense is playing great, so you got that working for you as well. There's a lot to like about the A.J. Dillon chalk this week, and I think he's a cash game lock, but If I'm making one lineup right now for just GPPs, he's still going to make that lineup because he is the bell cow. The other running back, like he'll get a few touches to spell him, but I mean, this is A.J. Dillon's show this week. And don't be surprised if Green Bay goes very, very run heavy in this game. And A.J. Dillon, he is no scrub. I would say that, yeah, he's not Nick Chubb. He's not Derrick Henry. But I think A.J. Dillon's the starting running back on more teams than he isn't. That might be tough, right? Because there's some good ones out there, McCaffrey, et cetera, et cetera. But like this guy's, he's good. He can play. He's just a beast. That's all that there is to it. So this is good chalk, especially for cash games. All right, next up. So big news the other day was the loss of Amari Cooper for 2 games, which means that Michael Gallup now is going to be, I guess we would label him as the number 2 target in Dallas. And the thing about Michael Gallup is he wouldn't be the number 3 wide receiver on any team but Dallas, Tampa Bay, maybe Pittsburgh. Like this guy he's talented. He is a player. Now they got CeeDee Lamb, who's amazing. Cooper's really good. So this is why he gets relegated to the 3rd string. He got last week to knock the dust off. Now you got a game at Dallas, Kansas City, game of the week. Should be one of the more highly televised or highly watched games of the year. I think the offenses in this game might go a little bit overrated. I think people might load up on this game a little bit too much, whereas I think, Casey's defense is playing better and Dallas's defense has improved this year. I don't know if it's going to be as high scoring as people anticipate, but that doesn't mean you don't want any pieces of it. And my favorite piece now, dollar for dollar, is going to be Michael Gallup at only 4,200. Like, this guy's a player. He's good. He's got a good quarterback, good offensive line. They're going to need to throw it at least a little bit, right? So why not Michael Gallup at 4,200? Cash lock. Like A.J. Dillon, though, I would, in an ideal lineup, I'd probably just use him. Next up was going to be Tyreke Hill. So, again, I may be a little softer on the offense in this game than a few other people, but that doesn't mean, I don't think there's some good plays here. And Tyreke Hill is my big money wide receiver. So, one of the things you have to like about Hill, so the introduction of Diggs at the cornerback position for Dallas this year, he's been awesome, right? 8, 9 interceptions. He's a gambler, though. And, he isn't going to go on Tyreke Hill and just shut him down. Now, are they going to run triple coverage this way? I mean, maybe. We've seen crazier things happen on Kansas City. People try to take away Tyreke Hill. He's wildly productive, though, almost every single week. They find unique ways to get him the ball. He's going to have 100-some receptions this year as long as he's healthy. He's going to go over 1,000 yards. He's going to have double-digit touchdowns. He's borderline unstoppable because he's literally a walking video game. I like him this week. If Diggs gambles, he's going to take him deep. And that's the other thing about Diggs. Yes, he's having a tremendous season. He's a really good football player. But the great cornerbacks, the Jalen Ramseys of the world, they don't have 8 interceptions or 9 interceptions or whatever it is because they don't get the opportunities because you just don't throw the ball their way. So Diggs is good, but it's not like they can't not go after him. So if you're worried about a cornerback matchup, that's just not really a thing for me in this situation. So give me as much Tyreke Hill as we can possibly fathom, especially in cash games. I like him more than Davante. Aaron's a little banged up. I think Green Bay goes run heavy, so I got Hill ahead of Davante this week. It's not even really that close for me. All right, last up, let's go over to a defense. So last week, our GPP defense, the Green Bay Packers, was awesome. They pitched a shutout, 17 points. So let's try to push our luck again this week and go with the Miami Dolphins, which are probably my favorite overall defense this week. Now, I don't think they're going to get a ton of love, at least not currently looking that way per projections. So this makes them more of a GPP play. However, if you like them, just play them wherever you want. So they're running out Wacko Flacco this weekend, which should tell you a little bit about what you should expect from the Jets offense this week. And Miami's playing better, coming off a huge win against Baltimore on a Thursday. That's back-to-back wins. And their defense has played phenomenally 2 weeks in a row. So Miami's had a terrible season. But this is different than if you saw 2 good weeks from the Jaguars or the Jets, because those are bad football teams. Miami is a decent football team who played poorly, if that makes sense. This was a team a lot of people thought might make the playoffs this year. We feel like they're well coached. We wasn't sure where things were going to go this year, but it shouldn't be a surprise to see them play good games. While watching it, yeah, I was definitely surprised to watch them beat Baltimore, but when you step back and think about it, it wasn't that crazy. The Jets, on the other hand, are they're just pathetic. So with Joe Flacco at quarterback, you should expect a real vanilla game plan, which leads you to believe that it's probably going to be a really boring game. They're going to try to run it. But I got faith in Miami putting some points up right now because the Jets defense is atrocious and they're crashed hard right now. And if Miami gets up 21-0, like, I don't think the Jets can just not try to, like, score some points, right? Like, you got people fighting for jobs over here, coaching staff included, and at least want to take a chance to not be completely, brutalized and look pathetic. So you get Joe Flacco coming from 14 down or something like that. Like, I love the opportunity for pick sixes, sacks, and everything like that. Clearly, he's not a very mobile quarterback at this point of his career, so he's a sitting duck back there. And sure, if Miami can't score points, which I find to be unlikely, then you'll probably just see them run, pass, 3-and-out, punt it. But if they get a little bit more assertive and aggressive as they get down in this game, like, I think the Dolphins defense has huge upside coming off great back-to-back weeks and getting very, very little love this week. So that is what I got for this week, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Click that thumbs up button. Good luck, and we will see you soon.